Man, Will, you're usually on point with your advice, but this time I don't believe that you nailed it. Um, if you look at the research on moles, typically they eat uh, earthworms, which are not insects. And there is a myth out there that if you kill the grubs, you're going to get rid of your moles, and that's just not true. And if it happens to be voles, well, voles typically are feeding on like tree roots, and they really like fruit trees and stuff like that. Um, so if there's no trees in the area, or vegetation, like sometimes they'll also feed on like herb gardens, stuff like that, vegetable gardens. So if you don't have any of that, you probably don't have voles. Voles also tend to eat their way kind of like through the top of the grass, versus moles burrow under and kind of push up the soil. Voles can burrow under, but usually they're staying pretty close to the surface. They'll also scratch on tree bark. So when you got a vole problem, that's another symptom you can look for is scratched bark at the trunk of your tree. And again, it's usually going to be on those fruit trees. Um, but yeah, I don't believe in applying insecticide to control voles or moles. The best way to control those is going to be talparid, which is a pheromone baited gummy worm. And so it's basically mimicking the natural food source, which is earthworms, and it's pheromone baiting them so that it smells like, you know, an earthworm would smell, supposedly, which means when you put it out, you do want to wear like a rubber glove. You don't want to just use your bare hands because they'll smell you. And otherwise, trap them. Like those are the only really good ways to kill moles. As far as voles go, it's pretty much traps because again, unless you can pheromone bait them into a certain type of root, or possibly you could poison the tree. But again, I've never heard of that before. It's pretty much trap the voles, bait the moles. You can trap moles too if you're not sure. Go with traps, but yeah, mole and vole problems suck. They are one of the worst. Basically, vertebrate problems in general are tough because it's hard to control things like deer and uh, moles and voles and gophers and armadillos. And some of those things really can tear a yard up. So, I don't know. Maybe get a dog? Although then the dog's going to tear the yard up. There's just not a good solution. If you're a perfectionist and you really love lawns and you want yours to be perfect, you just got to battle. Get those traps. Get that bait.